Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here, alongside Christian Mosqueda. Live once again, Chris. We're back.
We're back, bro, and man, what a week of boxing! Episode 193, and it's gonna be the BAM show.
The
I gotta
BAM
ask you,
show.
Gio, man. I gotta ask you, man. What did you think of this fight? What did you think of BAM? Were you surprised at all that he got the knockout? I don't think there was any doubt that he was gonna win in your mind. I think, but the way he did it, man. Talk to me.
I'm going to just start off with Mad Dog H's comment. Shout out to Mad Dog. Says, Bam, the real Mexican monster. He beat two of the four kings. And that's right, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bam Rodriguez has done it. He has inserted his name with the kings. You know what? I was confident that he was going to win the fight, but I still knew that Sor Rungvisai is a great fighter. Obviously, he's older. He's had a long career. He's been through many wars, but it's the Bam show, man. And I think the Bam era is just starting. And I think that Chocolatito and El Gallo Estrada need to watch out, man, because if they get in the ring with Bam, we already saw what he did to Sor Rungvisai. I didn't think he was going to stop Sor Rungvisai because Sor Rungvisai, he's a very powerful puncher. He's still a very good fighter. I don't think he fought a terrible fight. I just think Bam was just on another level that night, dominated him, punished him, stopped him. The referee had seen enough, and very impressed by Bam Rodriguez. And I was the first one to say last week, if Bam Rodriguez wins by KO, I will have to insert him in my top 10 pound for pound fighters in the world. I think simply because like back to back impressive performances. Cuadras didn't get stopped because he's a warrior. I mean, this guy, he took a lot of punishment that night. But Bam Rodriguez going up a couple weight classes, filling in last minute. Literally, he had a week to prepare for Cuadras. Obviously, he stayed in the gym and he stayed ready. And when he got that call, he filled in for Sor Rungvisai. When that fight fell through, filled in, beat Carlos Cuadras in impressive fashion. Now Sor Rungvisai challenged for the title, and Bam Rodriguez just wiped him out. So very impressed by Bam Rodriguez, man. He's a rising star, 22 years old. It's crazy. If you meet the guy, he's a very quiet guy, doesn't say much, but in the ring, that switch just flips on, and it's danger for his opponents. Very impressed by Bam Rodriguez.
Yeah. When we have to remind the viewers, man, he is only 22 years old. And this boxing game at that age, you can and fighters do this. They say they're gonna fight somebody, they don't, they pull out, they call them out on Twitter. That there's never any follow through. They let it, they let these fights just linger and they don't even fight these guys into their late 20s. That happens. And obviously, we've given so much credit to these four kings. These guys all fight each other, not just once, but multiple times. That's why they get so much respect, even though they're not well known in the mainstream. In the boxing world, we give these four guys, mad respect. And for Bam at 22 to take two out of the four out already, and in such a fashion, Sor hadn't been knocked out since 2009, 2010, those years, when he was barely starting. So he's a tough as nails kind of fighter. There were some people that were worried that maybe Sor was gonna, do to Bam what he did to Chocolatito. It's the size difference wasn't apparent there, but it was, it was gonna favor Sor. But like you mentioned, Joe, it's just too much skills from Bam. There's a reason why they, call him the cream of the crop there with Virgil Ortiz. When Virgil was with Robert Garcia. So man, he's just showing us, I feel like barely the first step of many steps he's going to take in his career.
Yeah, Mad Dog says 22 years old and already has. I'm sorry, something got him over here. All right, here. 22 years old and already has a better resume than most fighters with his last two fights. Jose Vaca says got a belt before Ryan. Yeah, man, two very impressive wins in a division that literally wasn't his 2 fights ago. his brother Joshua Franco was just inserting his name with those guys. He has a WBA regular belt, I believe. And then Franco kind of came out of nowhere, got that opportunity, took it, took two tough fights, and came out victorious. 22 years old. Very, very impressive. I mean, this guy, he has everything ahead of him. You know, big fights, obviously. He's going to become one of the shot callers in that division because he just took out two of those four kings. So let's see what Chocolatito and Gallo do next. They're supposed to get the trilogy going, correct?
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah.
happening. And then Bam is going to be there. Bam is going to be there. The question was whether he was going to stay or move back down to his divisions, but he looks comfortable. Obviously, power is still there. He's able to hurt these guys, and just very, very impressive, man. Sor Rungvisai, like you said, he was coming into the fight at 50-5. 50 and fight. Five. Five may sound like a lot, but the beginning of his career was a bit crazy, and they kind of mentioned it during the telecast. He lost his first two fights as a pro. He had a draw in the third. He won his fourth and lost his fifth. So really, in his first five fights, he only won one time, Sor Rungvisai. One time out of the first five fights, and then went on a crazy winning streak when he was beating guys like El Gallo and Chocolatito two times. Before that, he lost to an undefeated Carlos Cuadras in 2014. But that was a technical decision. Not sure if you would count that as a loss. I remember it was a bit controversial. But after that, you know, he got those huge wins, really back to back to back against Chocolatito two times. First one a bit controversial, second one knockout, no doubt. Then he beat El Gallo Estrada 2018, and those were three great wins in a row, and he inserted himself in that top pound for pound list. I've always had him somewhere in my top five. As of late, he hadn't been fighting the best opposition, so obviously he dropped. And now this big loss against Bam kind of catapults Bam up on that list, in my opinion. And I mean, just very, very impressive. Very impressive, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next with Bam. We keep repeating it. 22 years old. He can take the rest of the year off, get some rest, and he's still, you know, going to have that youth on his side and be fresh for next year. So it's going to be interesting what happens next, but big congratulations for Bam. Very happy for him. I know you've had the chance of meeting him. I had the chance of meeting him as well. Quiet dude, doesn't say much. I don't think he watches much boxing, him and his brother. But, I mean, you see it in the ring. They get it done. So very happy for Joshua and for Jesse.
Yeah, like you said, Bam is a very unassuming guy. If you see him in the street, you probably think he's just, you know, this little kid, this skater type. You know, he's just very, like you said, very quiet, shy. You know, not like a bit in that ring. I was very impressed in how Sor was, you know, trying to rough him up. You saw Bam in those early rounds tying up. That's where I was like, okay, I want to see what Bam does. But this fight is very telling because when we think of champions, multiple weight world champions, the thing that really distinguishes them is how they adjust in these type of fights. You know, those kinds of rounds. And he adjusted well. His technique, his distance, his timing, dude, it was all there. And obviously, you saw the emotion. You know, we also look at how they finish fights, if they have that killer instinct. Freaking Bam had that in that 7th, 8th round, and it took out, in my opinion, one of the very best flyweights the last 5-7 years. And you saw the emotion pour. You know, that's a human aspect of him when he just fell to the floor and just the emotion just welled up on him. That just tells you, you know, like, man, this kid, you know, not just works hard. He's a human, and all those emotions are gonna come up, and can't wait to see him, you know, fight against, like you mentioned, the Chocolatitos and the Gallito Estradas, you know, because those guys now know, like, hey, I got to be on my A game. This kid is the future of our division, and they don't want to go away the way Sor did. Nobody wants to, you know, get knocked out by the next guy, the guy that, you know, that's going to be carrying the torch. You want to put up a fight. And so I know Chocolatito and Gallo, they're going to be, you know, on their A game, and they have to be against this rising star.
Yeah, and just to Before we move on, I must say, like Sor tried. He tried his best. He threw
Yeah,
big punches. Bam was just hitting him with the crazy angles as always. Sor could never find him. He never really landed anything big. I remember Bam against Cuadras. You know, Bam stood there and traded with Cuadras at times and got hit by a few punches. Um, and what was very interesting is against Sor, it's not like he was moving around a whole lot. It's not like he was intimidated by Sor. It's not like he was trying to cruise through a decision. I mean, when he saw that he can hurt Sor, he stepped on the gas pedal and didn't let him breathe. Didn't give him any breathing room and didn't let him off the hook. Finished him off. So very impressed. I'm impressed by Bam's confidence. You know, going up in weight classes and doing what he did to both Cuadras and Sor Rungvisai. I mean,
yeah,
that's tremendous. And people, I've said this for a while now, but I think it's clear as day now. Bam is the best talent out of the RGBA stable at the moment, and sky's the limit for this guy, man. Very excited to see what's next. And once again, I can't reiterate it enough. Very happy for both of them. You know, they're good people, so very
yeah.
happy for all that family. They've been working very hard since they were young. And I remember there was a clip, I think Ellie Setback posted recently, um, of talking about Franco's debut, and Pita was saying, "Oh, we want to get him in 6 round fights. We're going to move him along very quick." I mean, what does he have now? 16 fights, I believe. 16 fights,
Yeah.
and he already got
Mhm.
two huge wins in his career. So they moved him along pretty well. They didn't baby him. They didn't put on the training wheels for too long, and you know he's put in the work. So I think he deserves everything that has come to him and everything that will be coming to him in the near future.
Yeah. I know that he said that he's gonna let Big Bro take care of the other two kings, but I'm just gonna ask you, Gio, which of those two guys would pose a bigger threat in your opinion to Jesse Bam Rodriguez?
I think El Gallo is a little younger. I think El Gallo is a little younger. So I think Chocolatito obviously older. He's been in many wars and he's slowed down a tad bit. But if you ask me with the fight that I want to see, it's Chocolatito against Bam because both are great
Yeah,
technicians, great footwork, great angles, great offense and defense. I mean that would be a great fight for boxing fans. But we'll see. We'll see. Joshua Franco's still there, so if he does let Joshua, you know, handle the other kings, I'm not mad at that either.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, personally, I would like to see him against Chocolatito. Obviously, we saw Chocolatito give a boxing lesson to Cesar Martinez, another young up and comer. But let's be clear, man. Bam is in a different level, different stratosphere. I think a Chocolatito fight, even though Chocolatito's a little bit older, you know, longer in the tooth there, he can still, pose some problems for Bam Rodriguez. And of course, and scary. You mentioned this in the Inoue and Nonito fight, man. Inoue got better because of that Donaire fight, and seeing that, making that comparison, Bam could get even better off of a fight like that with Chocolatito. So yeah, that's the fight I want to see. I want to see how far Bam can take it. The skills there, the talent's there, the work ethic is there. He's got everything, all the makings of a star, and we like to see, how he develops even more. Props to Bam Rodriguez for an excellent performance against a very tough Sor Rungvisai.
Without a doubt, and pretty cool that he was able to do it in front of his hometown crowd, San Antonio, Texas, headlining. I mean, that was just great
Yeah,
for boxing in Texas, specifically San Antonio. They have a lot of talent there, so very cool to see. I would like to talk about that undercard as well, Chris. I don't know if you had any more comments on the main event.
oh no, I was just gonna add. I know last time I talked to Virgil, I asked him about a fight. They're very close friends. I'm sure Virgil was glued to the screen, so hopefully we see him soon, or we get him on soon, and we get his thoughts on, how he enjoyed that fight. But yeah, again, it's a Bam show, man.
Yep, and on the undercard, man, another impressive win in my opinion. I'm very impressed by this guy, man. Akhmadaliev
That's
once
right.
again stopping Ronnie Rios. Seemed like he had hurt his his left hand, right? But then
Yeah.
at the end, he came out and finished him off. He could have cruised to a decision, but very impressive win, stopping Ronnie Rios, the rugged veteran. And now there's one fight to be made in that division, which is the Fulton fight. So I'm excited that all the champions are out here collecting belts, and at the end of the day, at the end of the road, they're meeting each other. So hopefully, this can be another one of those. Some Akhmadaliev against Fulton, and that would be a great fight, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you real quick. Who do you favor in that fight? Obviously, we know MJ impressed us when he captured that title over previous highly touted
Danny Roman.
Dan Roman, and so obviously that's the one that kind of like introduced us to him. Even though he's been fighting for he's had plenty other fights, but that's the one. Who do you favor, MJ or Fulton?
I'm going Akhmadaliev, man. This guy's a beast. He doesn't have many pro fights, but he's a very well-rounded professional. Fulton, he just edged it out against Figueroa. But I think that would be such a close fight. Interesting styles, both guys. So that would be great. I just want to see it. But yeah, right now, if I had to pick, I would say Akhmadaliev. But that's a 50-50 fight, man.
Yeah, no, for me, obviously those two guys are the best at that 122. And I would slightly favor MJ just because of I just see some that Eastern European grittiness, and I just feel like that. I don't know. He grew up in a much tougher environment, and I think that makes them, just dig for more. But the fight that interests me more, of course, is that one monster south of their division, Hoya Inoue at 118, and obviously you want to find the guy that can match Inoue. Not many out there, but I think the winner of that fight can pose some kind of threat just based on that size advantage that they enjoy. But I'm gonna say MJ. I want to see MJ take out Fulton and set up a mega fight with Inoue. Man, that would be a treat for the boxing fan.
Yeah, Inoue, man. There's a lot of big fights out there for him. That's one of them.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Mad Dog says that the zone card was fire. Glad you enjoyed it. He also says Bam versus Martinez in the Canelo GGG undercard. Ooh, yeah, I'm not picking anyone over Bam right now. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is his moment. He's looking crisp, sharp, fast, strong. Man, at this moment, I'm not picking anybody against Bam.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Mad Dog, man. He's putting on his matchmaker hat right there, man. But yeah, no, Bam, it's gonna be. I mean, all these odds that you're gonna be betting, they're gonna be really highly favoring Bam. But of course, man, everybody's human. Anybody could get clipped. But yeah, man, Bam is the truth. I was messaging your brother Gio, and I was like, I was messaging like, hey, this guy is the truth. Again, you beat him, and he's very unassuming. But there's a killer. There's a really talented fighter, and obviously Eddie Hearns mentioned that. He said it. San Antonio, you guys have a talent right here, before your very eyes. And yeah, I gotta ask you, Gio, does this? I know it's super early.
Uh-oh.
How many more wins of this caliber does Bam need to cement his place one day in the Hall of Fame? Because he's already done, part of the accolades. What else do you think he needs to, cement his place? Obviously, I think he's gonna be a guaranteed guy just based on doing things so early. But how many more big wins or does he need, in your opinion?
Big shout out to our guy Derek checking in. He says King Bam. I don't know, man. I don't like that Hall of Fame topic, honestly. Let's see what he does, but he's definitely on the way. I think I think he has obviously a lot of time. He can still move up in weight classes. But let's not move too fast, man. He just moved up to this one, so let him get solidified there a little bit more. Get possibly some fights there against Chocolatito and Gallo, hopefully, and then we'll see what happens after that. Jose says, Bam is not your typical Robert boxer. Yeah, man. We've had some criticism of that Robert camp in the past. Guys who come to mind are guys like Bam Bam Rios and Chino Maidana. Come forward, forget about defense. Throw bombs. But
El
yeah,
Margarito, El Margarito,
yeah,
right in
yeah.
that time. Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Bam is different. Bam is different, just like Mikey Garcia was different. And then we'll
Yeah.
get into that in a little bit. But Derek saying Robert looking at trainer of the year if he can get a dub with AJ. Very good point. Very good point.
Yeah. I don't know if he does that, but yeah, Derek, if he does, he's got his name in there in that top three for sure. Derek, I'm gonna ask you, are you gonna be putting money on AJ?
Woo.
I want to see if he does. I want to see if he doubles up. But yeah, no. Again, yeah, Robert. I think I said this joke like Robert can lose with AJ. Who cares, man? He's got Bam. Obviously, he's the smaller fighter, but he's got a blue chip certified winner in Bam Rodriguez. And us meeting Bam, we know that he doesn't have those outside distractions that a lot of fighters, when they get the fame, when they get the money, when they get all that attention. I don't see Bam being one of those guys. He's such a dedicated young man, and he's got his brother there, checking him too. And again, like you mentioned, they're both just really like standard, good, nice, people. And yeah, they're gonna keep each other on tab. I'm gonna ask another question. You may not like
Here we
this one,
go.
Gio,
All
but
right,
here we
last one.
go.
Last one.
Who is the better brother duo right now, the Charlos or the Francos?
Oh, the Francos, hands down.
Hands down.
Hands down. I think
Right.
160 Charlo's holding the other Charlo back. He just refuses to fight any good fights. So, yep, he's
Yeah.
holding him back. Derek says, nope, he's not putting money on AJ. All right, but let's move on, Chris. Let's move on. We mentioned Mikey Garcia, man. Surprising to me. Surprising. I mean, I think this was a long time coming. He was looking very comfortable, taking one fight a year, one fight in 2 years. But it's official now. It seems like Mikey Garcia announces retirement from boxing at just 34 years of age. Finished his career 40 wins, 2 losses. The 2 losses against Errol Spence and Sandor Martin, right? Which that was a shocking one. He did score 30 KOs to his name. 4 division champion Mikey Garcia. He's a legend in his own right. One of the best fighters of this era. One of the most exciting fighters of this era, I must say. If you got to watch those fights against Juanma Lopez or Rocky Martinez, Bam was up there. He had that hiatus when he was dealing with the legal issues with Top Rank and Bob Arum. Didn't fight for a couple years, then came back strong. Started collecting belts. He won belts at 126, 130, 135, and 140. His best run was probably not even that long ago, I would say. He fought, well, let's start with Slatikanen. He fought him in 2017. He fought Broner in 2017. Lipinets 2018, Easter in 2018, and we went to that one at the Staples Center. Spence in 2019, and then Vargas in 2020. So that's not a bad end to his career at all, at all. Of course, that Sandro Martin in October 2021 was the bad loss, right? Where Mikey just didn't look good. He didn't look very motivated, And when someone's not motivated, then it's better to hang him up, man. You never want to see anyone hurt. And he had a great career, Hall of Fame career. I'm just glad I got to see him, and we got to see him from early on in his days, man. Obviously Robert was a professional. They Vargas trained with Robert, and of course Mikey was supposed to be that next guy, and I think he made it happen, man. 4 divisions. It's interesting enough. I didn't know this, Chris. He made his pro debut in July of 2006. And that was actually at the Quiet Cannon in Montebello with Ed Holmes, All-Star Boxing. Of course,
Interesting.
if you guys know some of our background, we actually started commentating with All Star Boxing at home. So, and we've commentated many fights in that venue. But I wasn't aware that he made his pro debut, in that venue. But Mikey Garcia,
Nice.
legend, man, a legend. You cannot deny that. You can criticize, that he went up so high in weight and didn't look impressive at the end of his career, but Mikey Garcia, he's a legend, and I know he has his own promotional company, and I'm sure he'll still be around in boxing. But congratulations on a very successful career is what I can definitely say about Mikey Garcia.
Yeah. You're trying to say that all the greats start at the quiet cannon?
Yep,
Yeah,
just
no,
like us.
like
I'm just kidding.
I gotta ask you, like you said, nobody wants to see a fighter, end their career losing bad, not being, even close to what they were when they were at their highest. You never want to see a fighter in poor health. It seems like Mikey is leaving the sport on his own terms in a sense. He is 34. Usually, that's the time where a fighter's prime ends, especially at those lower levels or those lower weight divisions. But I gotta ask you, it doesn't seem like he took too much damage to the point where you're like, it's over. Did you feel like he had 1, 2, or maybe 3 fights left in him? And if so, who against who?
Yeah, definitely. Just like Mad Dog says, Mikey had a hell of a career for a guy who never wanted to be a boxer. He was just very, very good at it. Hey, I would have ran it back with Jesse Vargas, just so he can stop him. Run it back with Jesse. Hell, even Broner. I know Broner's making a comeback. But take those type of fights. Obviously, I'm not sure if he at this point, if he was at Mikey, if he's at that championship level, simply because he didn't seem very motivated in his last few fights. But I think he still had a few more fights in him. But I'd rather see them retire a little early than a little late. So I'm not mad at this decision at all.
Yeah.
Jesus says, I haven't heard Mikey say he retired.
So he hasn't. It's on his Instagram where he announces like retired boxer. Unless someone hacked them and put it and is playing a mean joke, it does appear like he is calling it a career.
Yeah, and Robert posted some stuff too.
Yeah.
Robert seemed to be the one to confirm it.
Yeah, there you go.
But you never know, Jesus. You never know.
Never know, for real. Yeah, back to that Mad Dog comment. Yes, that was something I was going to bring up. Mikey had always been on record saying, that, he wanted to be a cog, go to the academy. Obviously, you see his IG. He's a gun fanatic. He was never, that he was just a good boxer. And Robert has gone on record saying like that, Mikey never wanted to box. He just, he just hung around the gym and he was good. And, he pushed him. So, it's incredible how Mikey went through all those, jumping hoops with Top Rank, with Bob Arum, getting stalled. And I kind of, in a sense, feel like that's the thing that kind of ignited his fire and why you saw that run that you just mentioned, Gio, all those names. Those were very respectable names. It's when somebody takes something that you're good at away, tells you, you can't do it. I feel like that was a blessing in disguise for Mikey. And once he got his thing sorted, he was able to make the fights that he wanted, the ones that us, the fans, remember him for. So, he did things on his own terms in a way. And like you mentioned, we didn't want to see him lose to a Sandor Martin. We know that Mikey, his talents, should have gotten him that win, but that hunger wasn't there anymore, that passion, and I'm sure, like you mentioned, he has other avenues. He has his own little promotions company. I'm sure he's going to pass on all that knowledge that he gained from years and years and decade filled of, just being in that boxing ring. And hopefully we see him soon, man, because Mikey is good for boxing. The Hispanic crowd loves him. Every time we were at the Dignity Sports or any local, boxing fight, and he attended, fans just flocked to him. And so, I like to see what Mikey does next, whether he tries on the coach head, which I'm not sure. Maybe he does a little bit of promotions here or there. We'll see, man. But yeah, man. Congrats to Mikey, who had a hell of a career.
Will we see him in exhibition bouts?
You know what was my next point? I was gonna say, like, I would not be surprised if he picks a fight with Mayweather, like an exhibition. I would not be surprised, and that would be a good little. It's like the first time I'm gonna say, but that would be one of the only exhibition matches that I would probably watch. Mikey's very technically sound. Mayweather is obviously, the king of exhibitions now, and he's still kind of semi in shape. I would want to see that one. Would you see it if that happens, Gio?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's all I got on Mikey. I think we can go ahead and move on to another topic. Big congrats to Mikey if indeed he is retired. Hell of a career, whether he's retired or not.
Yeah. The one fight I wish that would have been made, never got made, was that Loma fight. I know they were flirting with meeting in the middle, and it never materialized. But yeah, that would have been an interesting fight. I still would have picked Loma, but I know, Mikey would have given him a hell of a fight.
Yeah, and other fights that could have been made. At the fight against Pacquiao, obviously, that would have been a huge fight, and more closer to his prime, Mikey against Gamboa. That was a big fight that was supposed to happen back in the day, that never came to fruition. But nonetheless, he still fought many big names, collected a few belts, on his way to those 40 pro wins, and great career for Mikey. All right.
Okay. I like that Mad Dog comment. I can see Mikey being a manager for some boxers. I know he knows about the business side of boxing. Yep.
Yeah, and he's a promoter, right? You've been to one of his shows. So he does like local shows here in Southern California.
There you go.
Giving the young ones an opportunity, man. Just like Jake Paul, right?
Yeah.
I know you want to touch on this. I don't have too much info on this Jake Paul stuff. All I know is that our guy Ashton Silva is supposed to be on the undercard. Is Amanda on it as well? She is, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
If it goes through, they're saying Tommy Fury has been having trouble getting to the U.S., and I suppose it's because of his connection with, I'm blanking out, I forgot the name of the gentleman who was associated with them, who was convicted of some charges and not able to come to the U.S., but obviously the Fury family had some connection. And what's up?
Is it MTK?
Yes, I forget the gentleman's name though. He was associated with MTK early on as well, and then MTK made a was it MTK, or I forgot if it was them or someone else who made a statement saying they hadn't dealt with him in a bit, so don't associate with them or whatever. But anyway, I hope this happens, man. I hope this happens. I want to see Ashton, and I want to see Amanda Serrano. This is supposed to be what, New York again? Is this supposed to be New York?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's supposed to be New York. It seems like, with Fury's. They're saying that he's not having any urgency to fix his passport, his visa. It's probably gonna fall through unless he does something ASAP. Yeah, it's crazy. I've always favored boxers over MMA, over any type of other sport. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like Tommy Fury.
You don't like him? What's wrong with Tommy Fury?
I don't like his antics. He's not as entertaining. I don't know what.
Is it because he's handsome?
He doesn't bring. He doesn't bring. Look, Jake Paul.
Telling you, man, all these guys who are decent looking, fans will find a way to hate them.
Come on, man. No, I respect. Obviously, we talked about it from the beginning. We always said, how do you feel about Jake Paul? In the beginning, I wasn't too much of a fan. Over time, I saw his dedication to his craft, to the game. Putting up wins. Okay, cool. Putting the Serranos of the world and other stars like on his card. He's giving them a platform. He's respecting the game in a sense. And I don't know about this Tommy Fury guy. I haven't seen too many of his fights, but it seems like the training wheels are still on him. And should be stepping it up. But yeah, with they're saying that this fight might be moved to the UK if they're able to meet Paul's price of 15 million. I don't think they get close to that. They're gonna have to figure out that whole visa situation. But hey man, it's a boxing game. I like being entertained, and it seems like one of these guys is ruining the party, man. I just gotta call it like I see it.
15 million, man. I hope Ashton gets at least a tiny percentage of that. And that's the only reason really why I'm hoping this fight goes through. Don't really care for it. But it will be interesting to see Jake Paul finally, face a real boxer. Tommy Fury, I believe, is 7-0. He doesn't have many pro fights, but I think it's a different level, and I think Jake Paul will find that out. If Tommy Fury loses now, the whole family will take criticism, man. Big John Fury, of course. Tyson Fury, I'm sure they'll receive a lot of negative comments and feedback from that. Mad Dog says Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva should happen. I think that's an interesting fight. But yeah, like I said, I hope this goes through, and I hope everybody gets paid.
I mean, how big would it be for Jake Paul to beat a guy, a professional boxer? Like you said,
just retire. Yeah, just retire after that. You did all you can do. Just retire. You beat a Fury.
Yeah, you beat a Fury. See, that's the thing. Like Tommy just obviously Tyson that's a big that's a tall order. No pun intended. I mean that guy's entertaining. He has all the skills of the world for a heavyweight. Obviously, I know you're not gonna come close to that, but you should at least try. And yeah, man, just I'm not too sold on Tommy Fury, man. So hopefully we get this fight. I am intrigued. I want to see what Jake Paul does against an actual professional. Just seeing, doing a little bit of research, Jake Paul seems a lot more committed. He has a lot to prove. He's got a big old target on his back. Everybody's telling him he's going to lose the first time that he gets in with a real boxer. He's got a lot of stock to lose. The memes will come flying if he loses. So I think he's working extra hard. He's really trying to make this fight. He's trying to put on a show, and hopefully it goes through, man.
Honestly, I would favor Jake Paul, says Sean from the Just Boxing Foundation. Hot take. But I think the narrative has changed a little bit. Jake Paul at first was seen as a joke. I remember I didn't even know who he was when he fought his first fight. Didn't watch really any of his first fights. I think it was until Nate Robinson that I started paying attention. Knocked him out cold. And then ever since, he's been looking really good. And I know he's training well. He's sparring with professionals. They're doing some training camps with Mosley, right? Shane Mosley.
Yeah.
So, it seems like they're taking this very seriously, Logan and Jake. But we'll see where this goes. Obviously, it would be a huge step to beat a professional boxer. And it will give him a lot more credibility. But we'll see what happens, man. I'm not too excited for it at the moment. But I must say that I am becoming, I'm not going to say a Jake Paul fan at all. But I am becoming more, what's the word? Not a fan, but I'm taking him more serious now. I'm taking him more serious. So he's put in the work. He's put in the work. So you can't hate on that.
I got a quick question. It's more of a prediction, Gio. Jake Paul on BoxRec in his cruiserweight division, he is ranked 691 in the world, 113th in the USA.
Jake?
By the time Jake Paul, yes.
He's rated. Man.
He's rated. Yeah, he's rated. By the time he decides that he's good, he's got his fill, he did all he can. How far do you think he gets? Let's just say U.S. ratings. How far does he get? He's at 113.
112.
That's a good one.
Sean
That's
says it's
I'll
not
take
that hot. If you compare the ring experience, it's comparable. Jake has been in an 8-round fight with a world-class athlete who's been on a big stage.
it's not wrong.
I would strongly disagree with that. I would strongly disagree with that because he never boxed really. He never boxed until he was, well, how old is he now? I don't know. But he just recently started boxing. Obviously, he has the wrestling. Is that him who was wrestling? That's him, right? Or am I talking about the wrong brother? I don't know, but I think that's the intriguing part, though. We'll see when they actually face each other. So I hope it doesn't get delayed any longer. I hope it happens and we see how they match up, right? But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, no one's too high on Tommy Fury. I just think the lack of real experience by Jake is not. It's not going to help him out against someone who's been doing this for many years and comes from a fighting family. And you talk about motivation, Chris. You talk about the focus that Jake has shown. I don't think Tommy's taking him lightly, man. If you lose, you're embarrassing the whole family. So
the whole sport, in a sense.
Hey, pretty much. I think
Did you lose? Go, Gio.
Mad Dog says I think the end game is Jake versus Mayweather. And that would actually be in Mayweather's record.
Yeah. Yeah, for you and me have been kind of hard on the Brits. We do say that they have a very strong fan base, but we don't always highly rate the fighters until they really prove themselves, when they come over, and fight actual talent. So he is rated, Tommy Fury, 23 years of age. He is rated 337th in the world currently. So a couple hundred spots ahead of Jake Paul.
Tommy says, Tommy Fury's not an incredibly experienced boxer. Where do you get that impression? Man, come on, Sean. What do you think he was doing when Tyson and his dad were out there training in boxing, just sitting on the sides playing Barbies? Come on, Sean.
Maybe. Maybe. I heard he was doing some reality TV shows, man, but to each their own, man. To each their own. I would favor...
Jake was out here doing vlogs and stuff, from what I hear.
Yeah. I see why Gio would favor a Tommy Fury. I would say Jake Paul, man. Ooh. I think he's learning so much faster on the job and I think Tommy's just too much. That shadow's too big, man. I don't think he's... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's putting on in all that work that Jake is. Jake can stay for him.
Hey, look, I'm favoring Tommy, but it's not by a lot. 51-40. I'm sorry, 51-49. No,
I would say 50-49 the other way, but it's close, man. It's close. It's intriguing. It's intriguing, man. So
It is. I think it's more difficult. I think Tommy's going to find it more difficult to fight against a guy who's not a typical boxer. I'm sure he's going to see a lot of things that he's never seen before. Obviously, he's early on in his career, but I'm sure he's used to sparring real boxers and fighting real boxers. And Jake Paul at the moment isn't that. I'm sorry, he just isn't. He hasn't faced a real boxer before, so we'll see. Sean says he had like 12 amateur fights. Hey, that's 12 more than Jake. It's 12 more than Jake, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if this fight, for whatever reason, gets moved to the UK and Jake is able to pull off a big win up over there, man, he needs to be top 100. Just for that. Just for beating top a Fury in the UK. Top 100 in his division.
Hey, man, look, if Jake Paul winning and succeeding means that he's going to keep giving these young boxers and bigger opportunities, then I'm all for it.
Keep winning, man. Keep winning. Get our boy Ashton in that card. Keep winning.
Ashton versus Jake coming soon.
Ashton versus For real.
All right, man. Well, that's all I got for this show. Not sure if you wanted to add anything else, Chris.
Yeah, no, for me, just thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out, getting close to that 200 mark. We appreciate each and every one of you guys that tunes in and drops your comments and your opinions, man. We really, really appreciate the love.
Yes, sir. And if you have not checked out the latest Marv Nation show, make sure to check it out. We're out there commentating for some of these for that night, really, for all the bouts and very exciting bouts, man. Every fight except one finished in a knockout. So out of the 8, there were 7 KOs. If y'all want to check that out, the whole show was great. We had fun commentating out there. And we'll be back soon next month, July 23rd, for another Marv Nation show. So stay tuned to that. And, of course, we can't get out of here without giving a huge, huge shout-out to our guy, Kid Kansas, Alan Garcia, who fought in his hometown. He fought in Kansas, got a KO in the first minute, showed out. So big congrats to him. Big congrats to Coach G, to our guy Andy Aguilar, to our guy Mark. And they also had a few fighters who fought on the Marv Nation card. So, yeah, man, they're doing great things, and there's more to come. So big congrats to them, to the whole team, to the whole Garcia family. I'm sure they were very happy to have Kid Kansas back at home, showing out in front of their hometown fans. So big congrats to them and all the young men who obtained victories in that Marv Nation show this past Friday.
Yeah. And Gio, I'm sorry to go and take this into a somber way, but I want to just send our condolences to Albert Leyva, who fought on the undercard and tragically passed away. I don't know all the details. I know they're still investigating, but yeah, man, all these fighters deserve respect. We don't know what they're going through. They lace up and they do it to support their families, to continue doing a passion that they love. Yeah, I just want to send our condolences from the AtR team to Albert Leyva's family, man.
Yeah, and Albert Leyva had a fight during that Marv Nation show. He was later found deceased that same night, if I'm not mistaken, in a hotel room in Montebello, California. At least that's what I saw from the initial reports. I haven't followed up on the story. But yeah, that was kind of crazy to hear, because a few hours before we were commentating this fight, and then you hear those news. So it's crazy. You never know what's going to happen. So all I can say is just enjoy every day, man. Enjoy every day, because you never know. But yeah, I think that's it for today, Chris. That's it for today.
Yeah, next week we're gonna try to get some guys, some names we've recognized before that have fights coming up, and so we'll keep you guys updated on that. Check for the notifications. You'll be posting those on our YouTube community page. But yeah, guys, stay tuned. Lots of boxing still to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for keeping that chat lit. We'll be back soon. Thank you, mates. Thank you. We'll be back soon. Let's go, Tommy Fury. I believe in you. I know you weren't playing with Barbies on the side. I know that's not true. Peace.
Michael, you already know I'm a fun guy.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Against the Ropes. Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.